Do not be like me and cut off 4 people in the traffic pattern. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pilot Accelerator Academy YouTube channel. This is going to be the second installment inside of the new YouTube series that I'm starting called My Aviation Mistakes and How to Avoid It. This series is all going to be completely about every single mistake that I could remember that I made while I was in my aviation journey, all the way from student pilot to ATP. The only reason I'm even making this series is because I believe that people should learn from other people's mistakes. I've made some stupid mistakes. I have learned from all of them, and I think you guys should too. Before we get started, go to pilot-accelerator.com/newsletter for important updates regarding to the course, as well as information of like tips, tricks, and just stuff that I want to share with you guys that I believe would be helpful for you guys in your journey. YouTube, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow this channel and get more of a following so that other people can learn from my mistakes and also start their journey of becoming a pilot or get tips and tricks or make their journey a bit easier. I believe there's a lot of things that I've learned throughout my journey that I want to share with you guys. Instagram, don't forget to go to the Instagram and follow us. Like Facebook, like our page. We post exclusive content, so go there, follow all of us, all our pages. And if you haven't started your journey becoming a pilot and you really want to, start your journey today. Go to skool.com/pilot-accelerator academy. Get started. There will be a link inside of the description taking you to the Skool community that I have. If you comment Skool at the bottom of this video, I will give you guys lifetime access to my community. It's only going to be for a limited time. I will make note of it inside of the description for when it's up. So don't miss out. Go to the Skool community, sign up for free. You can get lifetime access, and I'm always updating the course. There's going to be 5 weeks worth of information that starts from student pilot all the way to ATP. All the tips and tricks and insider knowledge that I've learned throughout my 6 years, I condense and put it all inside of the community for you guys. So don't forget to go and sign up. And share the course. I need your help in creating a community. I want everybody inside of the aviation community to soar to the skies and get their dream job, get the dream plane, and live a happy and fruitful life. So let's get into it. Today we are flying out of Centennial Airport, which is right here, Class Delta Airspace, just south of DIA and south of Buckley Air Force Base. Sorry, Space Force Base now. But the plane we're flying is the very first plane that we ever owned, which is a Cessna 150, November 3080 X-ray. Kind of a blurry photo here, but beautiful plane, very reliable. Have had a lot of fun in that plane, a lot of cross countries. We are talking about how I decided to cut off 4 people inside of the traffic pattern after doing touch and goes for 2.5 hours. Stupid mistake, but anyways, we started off off of Charlie 2, because this is where we were keeping the plane. It was later in the day, towards the evening time. I knew I had at least 3.5 hours before it was going to be nighttime, and I needed to land because I was still a student pilot. I could not fly at night. So we started here, Charlie 2, went up to the run-up area for Charlie 1, did our run-up, called ground, told ground that we wanted to do touch and goes in the pattern. Believe they had instructed us to take off of 17 left. So we taxied from Charlie 1 down Alpha 1, 17 left, took off, and they transitioned me over to the second tower. Frequency tower is right here, but they have 2 frequencies, one for the main runway, 17 left and 35 right. That's for all the private and private jets that come in. And then 17 right and 35 left is mostly used for touch and goes and for training, because there are a lot of training schools that are based out of Centennial. You have ATP, Independence Aviation, Aspen Flight Club, Centennial Flyers. There's a bunch of different flight schools that are here, and we all wanted to use that runway. It transferred me over to the second tower frequency. I started doing touch and goes. Everything was going smooth. Everything was going fine. 2.5 hours later, it was starting to get nighttime. I could see the sun going down, and time was starting to run out. So I decided to call tower saying I wanted to make this final landing my full stop landing. And there were 5 other people that were inside the traffic pattern. There were 2 Cessna 172s that were from ATP and 2 DA40s, and then 1 other guy. I don't remember where he was from. But we were doing touch and goes off of 17 right. So just constantly doing, I don't remember. I could go back into my logbook and tell you exactly how many touch and goes I did. But told tower I wanted it to be my final stop. They said to follow the DA40 in front of me. I looked out. I saw a DA40. Apparently, I didn't see the DA40 that he was talking about. And keep in mind that I am a student pilot at this point. But there was a DA40 that I saw that was probably on a 1.5 to 2 mile final for 17 right, and he was also making a full stop. And that was the plane that I thought he was talking about. At this point, doing touch and goes for 2.5 hours, it gets very repetitive. You start getting tired. You're getting fatigued. You're not really paying attention to situational awareness because you've been up there for so long, and at that point, you're just kind of not paying attention fully. So I mistakenly took the DA40 that was on a 2 mile final for my plane that I was supposed to follow. Mind you, I never got clearance to land from my understanding or from what I can remember. This was a long time ago, so I don't really remember it. But looking back, I don't think I got clearance to land. He had just told me to follow the DA40 ahead. I am unfortunately unable to draw on this, but if I could kind of paint a mental picture inside your guys' head, I'm currently about right here in a midfield right downwind for 17 right. The DA40 that he was talking about was probably a beam the numbers. There's a Cessna right here. And then there's a DA40, the one that I mistook for him saying to follow. And then behind him is a Cessna. So I saw him land the DA40 that I thought he told me to follow. I saw him land. By the time I got to midfield right downwind, I saw the 45. I didn't see the Cessna that was behind him. And I made my base turn, final, landed, got off on Bravo 12. Right about the time I turned final and I was about to land, I heard someone say that they were going around, and that confused me because I had no idea who that was going around. I thought it was just me and that DA40 for some reason. So when I landed and got off on Bravo 12, they told me to go over to ground. Ground then told me that I cut off 4 people in the traffic pattern, and my heart dropped. Didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was going to get a phone number to call. Luckily, I didn't. And like I said, I don't know that I don't think I got clearance to land. So I cut off 4 people and I landed without a clearance. So I should have got a phone number. Luckily, I didn't. Again, I was a student pilot. These guys at Centennial Airport are very, very professional controllers. They have a lot of traffic that they have to deal with. They are, in my opinion, the best controllers in the nation, and I've flown everywhere. As far as like Class Delta airspace goes, they are easily the best controllers that I've ever had to work with or deal with. But my point is, they know, they can tell when someone's a student pilot on the radios because you're not clear, you're not concise, you're mumbling, or you're saying a lot, trying to remember what you're trying to ask for. So it is very easy to spot a student pilot on the radios. And it was the same controller for the whole 2.5, 3 hours that I was up there doing touch and goes. So you can't help but think he cut me a break. Probably knew that I was fatigued just doing touch and goes for 2.5 hours. And then I would assume he knew I was a student pilot, so he cut me a break there. But my heart dropped, and I definitely thought I was going to get a phone number to call, and I was going to have to explain that one. But luckily I didn't. Key things to learn from this. Watch your fatigue. If you're starting to get tired and you're making little mistakes within your routine of taking off, flaps, flare, pushing in power, pulling up flaps. Like if you're making little mistakes, you're forgetting or you're getting slow, you can hear or like feel yourself mentally starting to get slow. You need to watch that like immediately. And I'm talking specifically to my student pilots here, private pilots as well, but student pilots, watch your fatigue. What else? Situational awareness. You need to be paying attention to where you're at and who's around you at all times. And number 3 is don't land without a clearance. If you even slightly question that you're going to land without a clearance, or if you wonder if you got cleared to land, call them up again. I do it to this day in the 170 in the Embraer 175. I did it in the 145. I did it in the PC-12. Ever since this, I always, if there's any question whether you got cleared to land, I will call tower and ask them, hey, air shuttle, blah, 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 or big stripe, whatever, do we have clearance to land? They have no problem repeating it back. I think there's a stigma kind of around making unnecessary calls. I could easily argue that that is a necessary call. So if there's any question whatsoever for anything, really, call tower. It was a mistake. I learned from it. Never made that mistake again. I am very crucial about situational awareness now. I am always having mental pictures inside my head of where planes are at. Even when we're in cruise and you see a plane pop up on radar, I will always either try to look for it or I'll always just make a mental picture, mental note that he is there. When you're coming in on an arrival, making sure that you know that there's people in front of you, someone behind you, that there's someone joining the arrival. Just having a mental picture of exactly where people are at can be huge. And this picture right here is kind of exactly what I'm talking about. So if I had my situational awareness, I would have known there were 4 different planes. Anyways, so yeah, don't cut people off in the pattern. Have situational awareness. If there's any question about anything, especially landing or clearance to land, ask tower, and watch your fatigue. The fatigue is the number 1 killer. Those are the biggest things that I can give to you guys, something that I learned, some big but also stupid mistake that I made. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys learned something. I will see you guys inside the next video.